r/AskReddit. Don't look in Tome says. People who broke up with their long-term high school sweetheart because you wanted to experience other sexual partners, was it worth it? What are your regrets? Cat says. I broke with her because I wanted to try new partners. Ended up missing her every day ever since. It's safe to say she dodged a bullet. Wes Warhammer 666 says. Huh. Didn't realize I had already commented on this post. Josette says. At least you did her the favor of breaking up with her before you tried new partners. Bashwan Source says. The sex with other people wasn't worth it, but finding someone who I was way more compatible with was. Groover Match says. This is my experience. Annaville Faction says. This all the way. I married my high school girlfriend and everything went to hell about 7 years in. We were separated and always kind of thought maybe we'd pull it off again. I had dated some people, but no one I was really taken with. Then my wife, while we were separated, was dragging her feet on seeing me in person and I inadvertently met someone else. It was so easy so fast, and we clicked on so many levels. I couldn't believe that I put so much time and frustration into this other relationship that I had more or less settled for. The new woman and I are no longer together, and I have zero interest in picking back up with my ex-wife. Airfree Earthen Time says. We broke up because her parents didn't like me, but we both agreed that it was too early to get married and we should experience other things. I moved away and traveled around the US a bit. She eventually left our hometown, went to college, and got married. 15 years later, she sent me a message out of the blue asking what I was up to. Neither of us were seeing anyone at the time. She had gotten a divorce years prior because her ex-husband turned out to be a pedophile, so she flew out to my state to visit. We got engaged 3 years ago and things are great. Zoro Del Luna says. Sounds similar to me. Broke up because we weren't in the same place in life or the country. I got married for 15 years. My ex-husband was a pedophile, so divorced instantly. 8 months later my ex-boyfriend randomly messaged me. His girlfriend had come out as a lesbian. We talked and messaged constantly for 2 months and he jumped multiple states to be closer to me. Kevin is the name says. Damn, he should go to the Olympics for long jump. Codge 178 says. Absolutely worth it. We were together through high school and college because we were two scared teenagers from toxic homes trying to find our way together in a confusing world. We wanted different things out of life. I'm glad we both grew up, found different things, and found partners more suited to us. We are still good friends. Pudding Governor says. I admire your mature approach and view. Not very common to have this kind of self-reflection. Grammarfixer2 says. Really? I think that most of my relationships ended because we wanted different things. I'm also still friends with a few of my exes. They were all great people, but sometimes things just don't work out and that's okay. NZ Disc Jockey says. She broke up with me. I fought to get her back, but I wish I didn't. I was never enough for her. Xtive says. I'm new to the feeling, and I'm trying to convince myself to let her go. Everyone around us don't understand why she did it. At the end of the day I'll probably do something wrong anyway that will pisses her off. Suspiciously Suspect 2 says. I've lived that relationship, bro. If your on-off girlfriend threatens to leave every time you upset her, dump her and never look back, just scorch the earth. That's abusive and will give you a crippling complex about it, and you will eventually end up with the relationship over anyways. Source has a complex, but found someone afterwards who loves me in spite of it, and we work things out. Jam S. Rose says. My regret? Not staying with her. However, I got lucky nearly 20 years later as we reconnected 1,000 miles from where we started and have been together for over 20 years. I lost so much because of that earlier decision, but I'm lucky to be with her now. Heartful Author P says, I have a similar story and I wish we could have had those years together. For 9 years, I told people of the one who got away. I carried a flame for him always. Luckily, we reconnected when we were still young and have been together nearly 10 years. You can still grow and experience life in a relationship. Our lives would have been so different if we hadn't listened to all of the "you're too young" bullshit. I'm grateful that we ended up together, so gotta focus on that. r/AskReddit. Blue Thunder Music says, what is one thing that you have learned that could save your life in any situation? Blue Thunder Music says, one of the things I learned is that when you just swam in cold water in a cold area and you get out of the water, to actually take off the clothes you swam in, or you can freeze to death. Another one is that when you're in cold water you gotta keep your armpits and your groin covered when you can, since those output the most body heat, which you obviously want to keep to yourself. Deluxebe says, if someone holds you up at knife/gunpoint, immediately give them what they want. Jobian says, I worked in several minimum wage jobs when I was younger where it was implied that I should physically restrain shoplifters/resist being robbed. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Your Insatiable GF says, if someone comes at you with a weapon and tells you to go with them, do not. Never go to the second location. Corny010101 says, the importance of social awareness, whether noticing a suspicious person or sudden changes in a crowd could potentially save your life. Awkward Loaf of Bread says, pull out your phone and start recording. Cameraman doesn't die. Sinful Diddy 64 says, if she says you do what you think is best, don't do it. Young Guy Invests says, not much is worth your life. Flippity 30 says, if you're late for work don't speed. No job is worth your life. Turn 67 says, proper wound packing and tourniquet application. Hictorsome says, stay calm and think clearly, panicking just makes things worse, no matter the situation. Tech Mike says, when you see a crowd gathering and arguing taking place, or a fight breaks out, don't pull out your cell phone, don't stand and watch, get the hell out of the area quick. Cinnabuntwix36 says, pretend to get a phone call if you start to see something to become violent. Just act like you're on your phone and walk away from the situation. Helped a few times. Q02 Zykes says, if you're in your car hydroplaning or sliding on ice, don't jerk the wheel to try to straighten out and never slam on the brakes. Keep the wheels straight ahead, take your foot off the gas, and hang on until you get traction back. Captivating Vixen 1 says, learning certain first aids for allergies and meds needed to take. This way you can people or family members to get at risk with allergy. I always make sure when going to certain events with food, I have my allergy meds with me. Patrick Swayze says, always eat your vegetables. Homesk says, stay hydrated. Rich Conley says, one thing I've learned that could save my life in any situation is the importance of staying calm and thinking clearly. Panic can cloud your judgment and lead to mistakes, but if you take a deep breath and focus on the situation at hand, you're much more likely to make the right decisions. Whether it's a physical danger or a high stress situation, staying calm can be the difference between life and death. RKPJR says, I sure am glad I panicked when that happened, said nobody ever. Sandpaper Pants says, don't panic. The Air Force video, over yonder on the Yao's 2 Bears, describes what to do if you're stranded and lost. Not panicking is the number one thing. Chill the frick out and inventory your resources, and then figure the best course of action. Orlamont says, how to really punch and make it count. Please ladies, take serious martial arts. Boxing, judo, full contact karate, muay thai, something. To keep yourself safe. Something where surprise and speed and vicious accurately targeting make a difference. Calamity Jin says, in any situation, there is no skill or knowledge that can save you in any situation. There are a couple of things which can save you if the situation leaves you any chance to survive. The first is to make a conscious choice to survive. In stories of survival, nearly all the survivors mentioned this. That while others around them quibbled or argued, got distracted, let other priorities misdirect them, the ones who looked at what was going and understood their lives were in danger made a decision to live. The second is not to panic. All of us have a breaking point. Most of us don't know where it is, simply because we've never been in circumstances where we hit it. Short of that, though, we can choose to stay calm and focused when other people lose their shit. Doing so means we are far more likely to stay alive. Cobra Manbull says, be armed. AskReddit 909 says, have something in the glove box that can break a car window if you end up sinking in a lake or river. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.